Morning, everybody. It's now 5 to 11, so just a reminder for those of you that have just joined us, please have your cameras and microphones switched off during the presentation. Morning, everybody. It's now 5 to 11, so just a reminder for those of you that have just joined us, please have your cameras and microphones switched off during the presentation. It's now 5 to 11, so just a reminder for those of you that have just joined us, please have your cameras and microphones switched off. It's now 5 to 11, so just a reminder for those of you that have just joined us, please have your cameras and microphones switched off. Morning, everybody. We'll be starting shortly. Just like to remind everybody to please have your mics and cameras switched off during the sessions, just to make sure that everything runs smoothly. All right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today for our eye contact pitching session. It's a chance for our live and upcoming issuers to pitch their businesses to the crowd. So just a quick reminder before we start, could everybody please have their mics and cameras turned off during the presentations, just so that we avoid any distractions and let everything run smoothly. So today we have 6 companies presenting, 2 of which are currently live on our platform. We have Go8, an AI-driven, eco-friendly food delivery platform. And then we've got Pasar App following after. It's a community-driven grocery delivery platform focusing on pasars or wet markets. And then the next 4 are upcoming campaigns that'll be launching soon. We've got Fee-Fi-Fo, a progressive tech co-farming company for agripreneurs. We've got Josens, a food technology company that manufactures superfoods. Scola Tinta, a pioneer in STEM-focused Islamic-based private education. And Chilla, a software as a service system for air conditioning cooling services. So again, just for those of you that have just joined, please have your mics and cameras switched off during the presentations. And so the format will be 10 minutes for presenting and 5 minutes Q&A after. During the pitching sessions, if you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat box on the side. And then after each presentation, I will go through the questions and ask them to the companies on your behalf. So before we start, I'd like to introduce Kiri, Atiplus's co-founder, to just kickstart today's session with some welcoming remarks.
Yeah, thank you, Nadia, and good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming, thanks for attending. I know some of you have attended quite a few of our eye contact events in our office, and this is the second one that we're having online. Just to let you know, Atiplus as an organization has decided to continue working from home, and in fact, we've given up our office for the foreseeable future. There's several reasons for that. Not least of which, obviously, we take our staff's safety into consideration. Now, we're just emerging now out of this present pandemic, and I think the landscape has shifted. The question is, how has it shifted? And I'm often reminded of the words from Charles Dickens' classic, A Tale of Two Cities, and that it is the best of times, it is the worst of times. To try to navigate us from an investor's point of view as to what would be the investments or the potential companies of the future can be quite challenging. Even to invest money in this challenging times is also, I know, a big decision on your part. The thing for us is how we look at it is, well, number one is we are being a company that's very dedicated to helping entrepreneurs as much as possible. What we want to continue to do is to give them hope. And in fact, we've never been busier in terms of applications. There's a lot of good companies coming through and applying now and realizing the merits or the value of doing a crowdfunding exercise. So I think that's the best thing we can do. Is actually, this should be about a time of hope. And I think each of us have got to play that part. We will continue to do it. We will continue to support entrepreneurs. And given that opportunity to fundraise, that they possibly couldn't have achieved in the manner that we can provide them without us. Now, for you as investors, obviously there are considerations and concerns, and you're looking obviously at how is the landscape being impacted. And I think there's obviously some things, for example, will change. I think a lot of us have been kind of liking the idea of groceries being delivered to us. So I think that will stay. Things like that will stay. And in fact, and that's not because I got 2 companies in that space in terms of food delivery and groceries, but I think that's something that people would have enjoyed and would have valued and would continue to and possibly want to invest in companies like that, because that's a growing market. Obviously, some other things, maybe in some of the more in things like entertainment applications and things like that, could be challenging in terms of as we go back to school and as we go back to work, that we might not have time or the need or the inclination to continue using those kind of things. So I think the thing to do is when we look at these things is to and as I don't claim to be a sage whatsoever, is that try to, I think when you ask yourself the question is, which of the companies are actually will reflect the future as much as possible? And like I say, the implications of this recent pandemic, I don't think we felt completely. But obviously, it is having some cultural, social, and business changes and whatever. Not least of which is us ourselves, and we're fortunate that we are a digital company and we continue working as we are. And in fact, what it's done is actually enhance us. For example, this session here, we are getting much more participants than when we used to have it at the office. Obviously, because it's easier. It's so much easier. You can just log online and that's it. Whereas coming to our office, it was really, I wouldn't say a logistic nightmare, but problematic in terms of moving around KL, finding parking and all those, going up to the office, all those inconveniences and all that. Okay. So anyway, that's enough for my intro. Thank you for attending. And I think we've got some really nice companies for you to have a look at. And, I'd like to enlist your support in essentially delivering hope. Thank you. Okay, Nadia?
All right. Okay. Thank you, Kerry, for welcoming everybody. Okay, for those of you that have just joined, so yeah, we are just starting our eye contact pitching session. So we'll have 6 companies presenting today. So we'll go ahead and get started with the presentations. So each company will have 10 minutes to present their decks with 5 minutes afterwards for Q&A. If you have any questions for the issuers or the companies during this time, you can go ahead and put your questions in the chat box, and after their pitch, we'll go through them, or I'll go through them and pose them to the issuers. And so for the issuers, please be aware of your time because this is online. You'll have to keep the time for yourself. I will let you know when you've reached the end and gone past your time. And we don't want to interrupt your presentation either, so just be mindful of your time. Yeah. So we can go ahead and get started. So just a reminder again to everybody else, please keep your cameras and mics turned off during the presentations, just so that we avoid any interruptions or distractions during the presentations. Our first company for today, we've got GoApe. So GoApe is an AI-driven food delivery platform that provides eco-friendly solutions to the F&B world by using electric bicycles, which reduces carbon emissions and creates a cost-effective alternative for food delivery. So presenting for GoApe, we have their CEO, Shirley Tan. Shirley? Hi, Shirley. Sorry, I'm not sure if you're muted.
Can you see my slide?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Shirley. So I believe you guys heard about GrabFood, Foodpanda, and many more other delivery services, especially during this MCO period. I'm here today taking them as an example, as we are doing something similar, but we are playing a bigger role by going green. I'm proud to present to you GoApe, your delivery buddy. So there's 2 problem statements over here, which is the F&B industry and the online food delivery services. So as we all know, there's so much hassle having to eat out nowadays. It is very inconvenient for us to eat out. You have to drive all the way to a restaurant, spend time looking for a parking spot, and sometimes there's a long queue at the restaurant. The biggest challenges for the online food delivery platform will definitely be the expensive food price. We usually spend at least 25 to 30 bucks for a meal, and it comes with a long waiting time due to lack of rider. So these are the challenges that online delivery platforms face today. The inability to cope up with volume and limited choices of merchants offer limited selection to the customer. So GoApe is a solution to all these problems. GoApe is a new delivery application established in the year 2018. We have been doing preparation for more than a year, and now we are ready in 2020. GoApe is an AI-driven delivery platform that provides eco-friendly, sustainable solutions to the F&B industry by using electronic bike to do delivery. So this is part of my team members, and I'm Shirley, the CEO of GoApe. Basically, I'm the one who runs the company. We have talked about the problem previously. With GoEat, we focus on the revolution of eating from restaurant to home. In 20 years back, there's no such thing as online food delivery services, but now it is something that our generation can't live without today. We bring convenience to customers by delivering foods and beverage to their doorstep within a stipulated time. Our platform will have more affordable food price as we do not allow merchants to mark up the food price, and there will be no extra charges such like packaging charges or any other taxes. Our delivery fees is at a flat rate of 5 ringgit. We are also using electronic bike to do delivery. This will help to create more jobs opportunity for the young generation and also helps in solving the lack of rider problem. And most importantly, we have AI insertion in our apps that helps in cost management and reduce long waiting time. GoApp also has advanced technology analytics and big data analysis to help to capture the spending characteristic of our customer. For example, what's the majority food our customer like? Other than that, we are also using electronic bike to reduce dependency on fuel and lower carbon footprint. As we all know, GrabFood is a major player in the market right now, but what if I tell you that they are not even controlling half of the entire market? There's a total of 16.5 million online shoppers in Malaysia. So let's say GrabFood took all the 6.2 million users for last year, there's still 10.3 million users who are left untapped. In addition to that, I believe that the online shopper in Malaysia has grown at least 30% during the MCO period. And the remaining users who are left untapped will be our targeting group, and this is why we are here today. Our concept will definitely bring value to the market. Our consumer will definitely get to enjoy more affordable food, their favorite food with more affordable food price. We also bring convenience to them by delivering foods to their doorstep. We create more jobs opportunity for the young generation by using electronic bike. As riding an e-bike doesn't require any license or skill, anyone can join us as our rider as long as you know how to ride a bike and have the basic sense of knowledge. Other than that, we also help F&B to boost their sales. And most importantly, for the environment, we are using electronic bike to do delivery. This will help to reduce CO2 emission so that we will have a greener breathing space. I'm very sure that you guys have seen there's many social media posts that saying that the environment is healing during the lockdown, which is going on globally. For example, like the river is getting clearer, the animals came up to play, and many more. According to the NPR organization, the global CO2 emissions are set to fall nearly 8% this year to their lowest since 2010, the largest drop in the history. Obviously, the world needs structural emission reduction driven by better policy. So in terms of competitiveness, we are measuring it from 5 dimensions. As you can see from the graph, we are still lacking food selection as we are still new, but I'm very sure that we will surpass all our competitors in this 5 sections in the future. There's 3 stages in our roadmap, which is conversion, retention, and upskilling. At the first stage, we convert 50% of the conventional to online delivery platform and also convert farmers to direct supply ingredients to the restaurant. The next stage, we use big data analysis to analyze consumer lifestyle and behavior to enhance our marketing strategy and improve customer experience. The third stage, where is the most important stage where we do expansion in our app, we will have AI insertion that helps in cost management, and we will upgrade our app into a super app in the future. For the traction generation, we have currently signed 132 merchants, and there's still 60 more coming in, and the number is still growing. For the financial projection, in year 2020, we expect a revenue of 2.7 million. By year 2021, it will go up to 32 million. By year 2022, with the AI insertion, it will go up to 92 million. Let me explain the use of fund in GoAid. Half of the fund will go to a technology part, which is the app development and AI research. 20% will go to marketing and promotion, and the remaining 30% will be our working capital. For your information, from the budget we did, we are expecting a 450,000 and a maximum of 3 million fund. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Shirley. Okay, yeah, we were actually done a little earlier than expected. So we can go ahead and proceed with the Q&A.
Okay.
So for the first question, we've got, one here. What is the delivery range of these bikes? How much do you pay your delivery or your riders versus Grab? And what is your taking percentage of the food revenue generated?
Okay, so yeah, my colleague will join us for the Q&A section.
Hi. Hello. So for the delivery range, right, it's around like 7 kilometers because we are separated in a few areas. So each area is around we'll be covering around like 7 kilometers. And then about the pay, we'll be paying for the basic for 10 ringgit, and after that top up with the commissions. Yeah.
Okay, great. And then the taking percentage of the food revenue generated? I guess your profit margin?
And what is your taking? So we are collecting a basic delivery fee for 5 ringgit for flat rate, and then a commission fees from the merchants of 15%. 25%, sorry.
Okay, good.
No, we for if it's for electric bike, you don't need license, and then as long as you're over age, around like 18, after past 18, yeah. And then if for the like part-time riders that they use their own motorbikes, of course you need license.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have a couple more minutes left for the Q&A. If anybody has any questions, you can put them in the chat on the side.
Okay,
yeah.
Regarding the marketing strategy, 20%, as you can know that actually our fund is around like the max fund that we are going to raise is 2 million, 3 million. So 3 million, then you count it at 20%, you can notice that the marketing fund is actually quite enough for it. And then on top of that, the basic marketing strategy was always like the media, the billboard, the online, the offline marketing strategy. Yeah. And then what is your competitive edge over your competitor like Grab and Panda? So I would like to explain more about these competitors because like as you can see that we are actually not competing with them. We are actually sharing the same market that like Grab, Food Panda, because as you can see that Grab, either whether how good they do or how big they do, they are still getting complaints because they are still not satisfying everyone. So actually this market like actually presented before is very big and huge. So we're actually sharing the same market. We are doing the sharing part. We are not competing them at all. So this is the point that I hope to voice out. We will provide electric bikes to them. Electric bikes will be our own assets.
Okay, so the last question. So what is your rider acquisition strategy and how do you make sure that your riders take care of the bikes?
Hi. So regarding this, because that every time the electric bike they will be taking away, but we have like our own system in this bike so that we can actually every day when they have to go out, we have to like see the condition. So they have to be monitored by us as well.
Okay, great. Let's see. Okay, we've got a couple more minutes if anyone has any more questions. Okay, so you kind of give insurance to your riders.
Because riders like we are if it's talking about full-time riders, we are actually covering EPF and SOCSO. So I would say is it one of the insurance that it's talking about?
Okay, if we don't have any. Okay, we've got a question from Dr. Sri Nelson. I guess does JPJ approve these electric bikes?
Because as long as it's not in highway and it's like below 35 kilometer per hour, we don't need JPJ approval.
Okay, we've got one more question. So for your 7-kilometer radius, is this the radius from the merchant? And what market areas are around the major town?
Again, because like the radius is counted by, like if I am the customer, I would like to place an order, we'll be counting around like 7 kilometers around you that you can place an order. And then so within that kilometers, we will be sending out. And then of course from merchant side as well, then we will be sending covering that seven kilometers. So the market area currently that the 5 areas is Kepong, Damansara, Bangsa, KL, and Mont Kiara.
Okay, great.
And currently, I saw who is the technology behind the platform. It's our in-house technology.
Okay, great. Yeah, sorry, that's the end of the Q&A. If you have any other questions, you can put them in the chat box, and Shirley and team, you can go ahead and feel free to respond to the questions in the chat box, yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so next up, we have Pasar app. So Pasar app is a community-focused grocery delivery service that provides fresh produce from the Pasar. The app brings your favorite vendors online and allows you to order goods directly from the wet market and be delivered to your doorstep. So presenting for Pasar, we've got the company's co-founder, Tunku Edi Naswan. And just a reminder before we start, for those of you that have just joined us, please be sure to have your cameras and mics switched off during the presentations. Sorry. Just to make sure that
everyone.
Yeah.
I think you can see the presentation.
Yes, Tunku, you're good.
Yeah. All right. I'll start my timer. Hi, morning, everyone. My name is Tunku Edi, and I'm here to present Pasar app. So Pasar app was developed to bring the freshness of the wet market straight to your doorstep. So we looked at two problems when we came up with the idea. One is for looking at the consumer problems, and the other was to look at what our local Pasar merchants were facing. So for the consumers, I'm not sure when the last time everyone went to the Pasar, but the area can be quite overcrowded, and it can be hard to navigate through those kind of areas. So tight spaces, a lot of people, and having what happened a few months ago with the COVID-19 and all that, the idea of being close proximity can be quite detrimental to your health. But overall, it's an uncomfortable feeling. It can tend to be hot and humid, and it's never easy to find parking. If you're going to the Pasar, and you have to be there early in the morning to get the best parking spot. And of course, the most important thing is time spent away from doing other things. You can be doing other things that's more beneficial to you rather than going out. Now, for our local Pasar merchants, the emergence of these hypermarkets have caused quite a problem for them, especially when these hypermarkets or supermarkets are going strictly online. So we want to bring our Pasar, local Pasars, online to fight them head on. Again, there's a lack of appeal for the younger generation. They are more inclined to go to the supermarket or order online. So again, that is important for the survival of our local Pasars. So these are the problems that we looked at. So what's the solution? So Pasar app is a multi-Pasar platform where you can buy fresh groceries that delivered straight to your doorstep. So right now we're looking at Taman Tun area because we have had an 8-month testing period where we were able to acquire 80 merchants in 7 Pasars. We also had about 14,000 downloads, 17,000 registered users. From that pilot project, we realized that Taman Tun had, again, because of the population there and they're more tech savvy, we had more orders coming from that. So to kick off our new, the funding to kick off the company again is to focus on Taman Tun and slowly grow from there. So what's our market size? So we're looking at, of course, the urban households, especially in Klang Valley. Based on the Khazanah report, that's about 1.5 million urban households. And there's a lot of people to service. So we're only looking at 1% to 2% by the third year. So these are realistic goals that we feel we can tackle. So that's about 15,000 households. So our business model, we have what I call the non-subscription model, which is the walk-in, and the subscription model. So very easy. We charge a delivery fee of 8 ringgit and a handling fee of 10 ringgit. We also have a subsection which is called Fulfilled by PASA, where if you can't find certain items, let's say, or they run out, we will fulfill it by either going to NSK or other areas to satisfy that order. Again, for the subscription model, we're looking at RM15 per month. And again, 10% delivery, handling fee, 10% handling fee. So sales target. So we said we're looking at 15,000 households. If I average that to about RM100 a month, which is a safe average that we're looking at, monthly revenue will be about 270,000. So we hope by year 3 to hit about 3.2 million in revenue. So what's the marketing strategy? So after our 8 months trial run, we realized that it was mostly mothers or housewives ordering from the app. So that's our focus moving forward when we target and through our advertising and our communication. They are our early adopters. But also importantly, what we realized is we want to build a community, meaning if you use our app, we'll give either rewards points or PASA coins, we might want to call it, and that will be used to redeem from other businesses within the community. So if you're Tamantin, for example, you'll be able to redeem a coffee at Artisan Coffee, for example, once you've used and hit the right number of points. Of course, it's also important that we do data collection, and we'll, of course, increase the app by looking at shopping habits, and again, partnering with potential associates. We do want to go on ground. We want to go right to the PASAs and talk to them and discuss with people that there's another avenue, which is PASA app. And again, our referrals and our redemption points are very important. So what are financial projections? So we see that the walking model will be about 75% of our profits, of our revenue, and our subscription model will be about 25%. We see about a 20% growth year on year, and our gross profit from each revenue will be about 30%. So here, looking at the competition. So I've got a few here. So Happy Fresh was one of the early grocery delivery companies. PASA Tap, again, they deliver from the PASA, but the wholesale markets. Mydin and Tesco were interesting for us because they started as brick mortar and now they're going online. So we consider them then some of our competition. But how we compete is through the level of freshness, because we are getting it straight from the wet market itself. Because it's from the wet market, the prices tend to be more affordable, and it's locally sourced. When I say locally sourced, means local Malaysian businesses. That's our target. Those are our merchants. And community focused. So we want to build the communities around each PASA, because to us, a PASA is actually a community thing, right? So it's almost it could be a center of a community, and we want that to still have that kind of strength online. So what's the funding allocation? The funding allocation is to get this business started up again with a focus on operations and staff. We want to keep it lean this time. We've learned that lean is the most important thing, and we want to increase the marketing because we have very little marketing, and marketing meaning branding as well. That's very important for the app and the system update. So the system is almost there. It's just enhancement as we move forward. So what's our rollout? So if you look at the second area, we're looking at the PASA expansion. So the focus is to really go to Tamantin, make sure we get that right before we branch off to the other areas. There is a potential to look at the BDP market. We have had inquiries on that when we did our trial run. So that's for hotels and restaurants. The tech updates will be constant enhancement. And we've plotted down where we may need to look at round 2 or round 3 funding. So this is a team. I myself have been in 12 years in advertising and branding. My brother Tikidani has been in finance for over 15 years. And he's worked in the UK and in Malaysia on big banks. And Shane is our Chief Technology Officer, who's been working more than 15 years in the IT industry. Yeah. So we've had some media coverage during our launch. We've been featured in TV3 on Nona. BFM interviewed us, and we were on Digital News Asia as well. This is how the app actually looks. So it's very easy. The app will detect your closest pasar, and you can go there and either look at the merchants, or if you're not clear about the merchants, you can look at the items, for example, beef, chicken, or vegetables. And then it's very simple. You can order from those merchants in the certain pasar and check out. So I hope you take a look at what we're doing, and I hope you can help us bring our local pastas to the 21st century and hopefully make money while doing it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tunku Eddie. Okay, so we'll move on to questions now. So we've got a question: who is responsible for the QC? I guess if the grocery delivered, and how would you deal with picky customers who might complain about a slightly bruised apple, for example?
Good question. Okay, so the QC. So we can never be 100%. We can never 100% take over the merchant's items. But what we do is we make sure that they have their up-to-date certs. So remember, all these are actual businesses, so they have certificates. So if you're looking at Taman Tun, for example, they have to have a DBKL license. If they are halal items, they have to have the halal certs. So before they get listed on our app, we make sure that those certs are, number one, up-to-date and certified. Number two, we deliver during the pasar time. So for example, Taman Tun can go up to maybe 2 to 3 latest. So we will only deliver within that block. If we had Jinjang Market, for example, we will only deliver until 12 p.m. because that is the block. So that's how we try to keep the items fresh. And of course, delivery is within the area, at most a 5 km radius out of that area. And thirdly, if it's a bruised apple, well, we have had that happen before with bananas before. We have taken the items back, returned it, and switched it. So that is our level of quality, because we do want the consumer to have a good experience through that. But also, we will have a rating system for each merchant. So, for example, Taman Tun has over 200 merchants. So if we have them listed on the app, we'll actually have their name on the app where customers can rate them and say, no, we had a bad banana from this, or we had this problem, or we had a good experience from the merchants, and they'll be listed on the app as well.
Okay, so the next question, on your current market share given your competitors.
Right, so when we started, so just to bear in mind that we only had an 8-month period, right, during that time. So our market share was very low. But from the learnings from that is we know how to move forward now. Yeah. So and bear in mind, we are looking at the wet markets. So there's hardly any competition yet in the wet markets. And even if there is, the main one will be Taman Tun. But I know some of the competitors have only maybe five merchants listed there. We're looking to get majority of the merchants, and that's where our focus is going to be, to acquire merchants as well.
Okay, next on, what was the first, or the split of the groceries? Would you deliver mostly vegetables, fish, or meat?
Okay, so we'll try to deliver all. So what happens before we start a pasar is we make sure we have at least the main grocery items there. So we make sure we at least have one meat stall, meat merchant, at least one chicken merchant, at least one vegetable merchant, at least one fish merchant. And that's what we did last time to open up that pasar. So until we get those 5, at least those kind of 5 merchant or those items listed on our app, that's when that pasar will be activated. So that's what we did with Jinjang. So Jinjang was the first one we actually activated that time. And then the second was Taman Tun, when we had at least those 5 groceries on our platform.
Okay. Let's see. The next question is, what are your margins like? And could you please go back to how much you're raising, or your fundraising requirements, and how you'll be spending it?
Okay, so we are looking now at 700,000 maximum, 300,000 minimum, and our funding requirements are to look at number one, to get the operations and staff activated again. But again, we want to be a very lean team. So it's a great thing that we had this trial run before we had to other plus and anything like that, because now we know how to move forward. And we realized that marketing, although we did minimal marketing, it was a lot of free press that we were trying to get. And our focus was then on download of the app. The important now is to get a branding of the app. So that's what we want to move forward with. And the system update is actually enhancement of the app. So the app's fully built. It's just little tweaks here and there for user experience. Should I leave it?
Okay, and then we've just got a few seconds left. So just one final question: do you control the price of the items, or will it be different throughout?
No. So the prices are controlled by the passes themselves. So we will have to monitor closely because yes, the items do fluctuate sometimes. So what will happen is that we hope most of our users will order the night or the evening before to get the delivery in the morning. But if the next day the price fluctuates, we will notify the customer. So let's say chicken has gone up by whatever 1%, 2%. We will still notify the customer to say, would you still want us to deliver this because it's a new price? So we do that.
Okay, thank you, Chinguetti. That's the end.
Thank you, everyone.
I think there are still a couple questions, or at least one question there. You can go ahead and just,
I just answer on the thing?
Yeah, you can go ahead and just. And if anyone else has any further questions for Chinguetti, go ahead and put them in the chat box and we can get to them.
Okay, how do I get out of here now?
Okay, thank you, Chinguetti. So next up, we have Fee-Fi-Fo. So Fee-Fi-Fo is a technology-first co-farming company empowering the new generation of progressive farmers in ASEAN. They enable traditional smallholder farmers and young graduates to be agripreneurs with modern farming practices and technology to grow more with less. So presenting for Fee-Fi-Fo today, we've got their co-founder and Chief Innovation and Strategic Growth Officer, Chris Fong. So just a reminder to everybody that's just joined us, welcome. Please make sure that your mics and cameras are switched off during the pitching sessions so that we can make sure that our presenters can go ahead uninterrupted. And if you have any questions during the presentation, go ahead and put them in the chat box on the side and we can get to them during the Q&A. All right, thank you. Yes?
All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'll just jump right in. Fee-Fi-Fo, we call ourselves a technology-first co-farming company with a mission to empower a new generation of progressive smallholder farmers in ASEAN. So 80% of the food that Asia consumes is produced by smallholder farmers, and 60% of the smallholder farmers, smallholder produce, are bought by contract buyers. Now, 65% of these farmers will retire in the next 15 years, and traditional farming is not profitable enough to attract the younger generation. At the same time, there are also no breakthroughs in agri-tech that can produce enough to replace smallholder farming entirely. So if we do not fundamentally change how smallholder farming is done, soon we will not have enough of these smallholder farmers. Agricultural produce will become increasingly homogeneous, and we will face a food crisis. Now, co-farming, what we call co-farming is when contract farming with guaranteed crop buyback meets co-working for modern ready-to-farm spaces. It uses technology on the back of a business model innovation to disrupt and democratize contract farming. It is a one-stop shop for smallholders to start their modern farming businesses and for businesses with the need for a consistent supply of quality crops to easily engage in contract farming. The ASEAN agricultural sector was valued at US dollars 265 billion in 2018, with the contract industry valued at USD 159 billion. Coupled with a rural population of 330 million in Southeast Asia, Fee-Fi-Fo is looking to serve a multi-billion-dollar sector that is dominated by rural farming. But Smallholders, they face a common set of problems: high capex, limited knowledge of modern farming, lack of scale, and being squeezed by middlemen. Co-farming solves these problems by turning modern farming from a very high capex game to a pure OPEX play with zero capital investment from the agripreneurs that join us. So when they join us, they get kick-started with a pre-harvest support loan to grow pre-curated crops in ready-to-farm modern spaces, and they are enabled by our purpose-built technology platform that digitalizes the entire seed-to-sale process. They then sell their harvest as a network to market channels that are already pre-established by P5O. Co-farming addresses agricultural issues faced by smallholder farmers as a value chain, and we believe that we are the first to do that. But how do we actually do things? So P5O first takes down long-term agri-land lease, anywhere from 20 to 25 years. We built modern farms that uses modern fertigation and hydroponic systems under protected environments, using grow containers instead of growing from the ground, under greenhouses or on fully mulched open farming floor. We recruit agripreneurs ready to start or expand their farming businesses from agri-tertiary institutes and existing networks of smallholder farmers, where they take up a ready crop plot of anywhere from 1 to 2 acres for 3 to 5 years. We then consolidate their harvest as a network and take care of the logistics for selling to our pre-established buyer channels. Agripreneurs pay a farm space as a service rental fee and crop profit share with P5O to join our spaces, and can expect to take away RM 50 to 70,000 per annum in income for a minimum crop plot. So that's about 2 to 3 times the income level of a fresh university graduate from agri-science field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Agripreneurs in P5O co-farming spaces, they use our digital workflow platform called DDFN, or Digital Distributed Farm Network, to manage their entire seed-to-sale process. Now, DDFN does 4 main things. First, it digitalizes and standardizes the financial model and the crop growing procedures for each crop that is grown in P5O spaces. 2, it ensures our agripreneurs are setting aside enough funds from their harvest sales to start a new cycle, and they are buying the right inputs in the right amount. 3, it helps our agripreneurs grow consistently with digital operating procedures that can be easily assigned to their workers and monitored for progress, and solve problems by tapping the collective wisdom of the 4, digital workflows around harvest, packing, and sales finally help prevent rampant fraud, which is very common in smallholder operations, and account for sales and rejects so they know exactly how profitable they are from cycle to cycle. As our entire network of agripreneurs use DDFN for their day-to-day operations, we are collecting multifaceted data on their farming activities, which we are using machine learning and AI to provide insights to challenges like operational optimization, yield and forecasts, cash flow forecasting, and access to smallholder insurance and loans. P5O's vision is to ultimately build a consumer brand with our agripreneurs and traceability at its center, and to inspire people to know their farmer and to know their food. We believe that this is increasingly what consumers want and is willing to pay a premium for. Our founding team is made of experienced serial entrepreneurs and professionals with a combined experience of over a decade each in farming, venture building, digital product and brands, business model and process engineering, as well as real estate development. We have experienced farmers in our ranks that have set up and operated the greenhouse and open farming across 4 Malaysian states with deep knowledge of growing a variety of highland and lowland crops. We are powered by a strong technology team who are strong in both front and back-end technology stacks, including machine learning and blockchain, pre-baking these components into P5O version 1.0 for us to easily bring in these elements in the near future. We are endorsed by respected advisors across agri-research, finance, technology, legal, and business strategy. And we are supported by strong academic and industry partners. As an impact enterprise serving a number of UN SDG goals, we are also proud to be granted social enterprise status that acknowledged by the Ministry of Entrepreneur Development in Malaysia. P54 is piloting our co-farming model in Malaysia with 50 acres of P54 farm spaces within 2 years. We have already curated 5 crops that we can grow and have a ready market channel for. And our vision is to scale up to 5,000 acres across 6 Southeast Asian countries within 10 years, with a minimum of 450 acres in Malaysia. We have secured a 21-year lease for 18 acres of privately owned agri-land in Rantau, Negeri Sembilan, where we will start our first 5 acres of co-farming space. We're raising RM 4.5 million now to do a minimum plot deployment of 5-acre lowland farm space involving 2 to 3 agripreneurs, which we have already identified, and to build DDFN 1.0. To wrap up, these are words from Tun Dain just this January, underscoring the importance of P54's mission in piloting co-farming. Making agricultural profitable and attractive to young people is the key for the country, echoing sentiments not just in Malaysia, but also in many developing Southeast Asian countries. Now, we are currently accepting pre-launch investment. Interested parties may either contact myself or my co-founder Kelvin directly, or Atta Plus for more details on how to invest. Come talk to us. Together, we can make safe and healthy food more accessible to feed the world population.
All right, thank you, Chris. Okay, so we've got a couple questions. So the first is, how much tech is involved, for example, in water fertilizer monitoring or in the integrated use of fish waste and plants?
Sorry, come again?
So how much tech is involved?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, in water fertilizer monitoring or in the integrated use of fish waste and plants?
Okay, so there's a couple of questions in what you just asked. The later part is about integrating fish waste and all. So just to be clear, P54, at least for now, one of the main crop systems that we are using is fertigation, not the hydroponics, the integrated aquaponics technology, where they have perhaps a pond with fish and then they use the fish waste to fertilize the water. Fertigation is basically delivering water and nutrients through drips and drippers to the plants. These nutrients are being mixed in a mixing dosing system, which every agripreneur comes ready with every agripreneur's minimum crop plots. The technology that we are building, which is DDFN, effectively one of the core areas is a digital crop growing procedures. So for every crop that we pre-curate, we make sure that it makes the cut in terms of 3 criteria. 1, there is a market that is already pre-established. 2, we know how to grow. We can co-develop the SOP together with the buyer so it fits the specifications of what they want. And we put that digital protocol onto DDFN, and it is in a form whereby it can easily be assigned out by the agripreneurs to their workers on a week-by-week basis, on a day-by-day basis. So that is how we ensure that every agripreneur who's growing the same crop is following the same set of procedures. That is how we make sure that they have consistency in terms of volume and quality. So of course, the last criteria for pre-curating a crop is that it is lucrative enough to support the pure OPEX model that allows that 50 to 70,000 RM per minimum crop plot that is to be provided to our agripreneurs in the likely scenario.
Okay. Okay, so first is a request. If you could go back to your thank you slide, just so that everyone can have your contact details. And then the next question is, with the recent issues in logistics, how does P54 or how can P54 effectively deliver vegetables to customers?
Okay, so that's a great question. Actually, we do see some of these issues throughout this entire COVID scenario. And I think we've written an article on LinkedIn about it. The fact is that 354, what we do, we are within the business sector that's considered a necessity. And therefore, even throughout the entire COVID scenario, the government has allowed, logistics and businesses and that moves food from place to place to carry on. If you have heard some problems during this period, it is most likely because some companies have not registered themselves under the right business category, and therefore they face some problems in being able to operate during this period. But by and large, there are many, let's call them last mile delivery service operators that we can partner with. And we have a few that are trusted partners whom we work with to basically move things from our co-farming spaces to the buyer's premises.
Okay. The next question is, what are your current pre-curated crops, and how do you decide that these are the first to start with?
So these are the first five pre-curated crops. We have chili, ginger, rock melon, and mini brinjal for lowland. Lettuce is for later on when we have a highland presence. Within the first four crops for lowland, we are piloting with chili and rock melon. Chili is an open farming crop. Rock melon is a greenhouse crop. So how we pre-curate this crop? Every crop that we bring into our network goes through rigorous financial modeling. And we need to make sure that the price which we can get from the guaranteed buyers, the cost of every input for growing these crops, the parameters in the growing protocols in terms of the number of planting points, how many plants per point, what is the expected yield per plant, etc., all comes into a very robust financial model to determine if this crop is lucrative enough to support that very minimum 50 to 70,000 RM take home per year for our agripreneurs on a likely scenario. And that is after lessing all the farm space as service rental fees that they're paying to us, any profit sharing that they're paying to us, and all their workers' salary, their own salary, etc., that we have built into the financial models.
Okay, good. And then one final question, because we're getting to the end of Q&A. So are all your suggested crops grown in greenhouses only?
No. So we practice what we call protected, growing as much as possible. So all the crops that we grow, try as best as possible to grow it in a protected environment. But that doesn't mean that all crops are under a greenhouse, because not all crops are suitable to be grown under a greenhouse. Where we grow open farming crops, like for example chili, even when we grow open farming crops, we do it as much as possible practicing the principle of exclusion. So for open farming, we do it on a fully marked open floor, so the floor is actually covered by a layer of silver shine or wheat mats, and these crops are growing in grow containers using grow mediums like cocoa husks that's upside of the ground. So as much as possible, we practice the principle of exclusion, but that does not mean that every crop can be grown in a greenhouse.
All right, thank you, Chris. Okay, so again, as Kelvin mentioned in the chat, if you have any more questions, you can go ahead and put them there. They'll compile the questions for you. And you can leave your email in there as well if you want them to get in touch with you directly. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you very much.
Yes, okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on to our next issuer. Thank you, everybody, for your questions in the chat box. Okay, so for our next issuer, we've got Josens Project. So Josens is a food technology company that aims to revolutionize the food industry through the manufacturing and supply of future superfoods, with microalgae being its core ingredient. Their unique proprietary product, the All 45 Essentials, is a microalgae-based powder which caters for all 45 food-based essentials required to sustain a healthy lifestyle in just the right proportions. Sorry, I just want to remind everybody before we begin, for those of you that have just joined us, please keep your mics and cameras switched off. If you have any questions during the presentation, put them in the chat box and we can get to them during the Q&A. So we can go ahead and start. So presenting for Josens today. We've got Edgar Leong, who is the Marketing Director of Axis Pharma, which is one of Joseon's top distributors.
Hi, a very good morning to all of you. In fact, it's almost afternoon, yeah? All right, let me guide you through, what is so-called revolutionizing health through food. Now in Joseon, we do have a so-called a food tech company that are aimed to to revolutionize food industries through the manufacturing for superfood, which is through the microalgae. Now a lot of us will ask what is microalgae. Later I will bring you through more details. It's a source of food, or we call it the first source of food. Yeah, microalgae. Now Joseon has been have this unique patented proprietary product called Essential 45. Now this Essential 45 is catered to sustain our human health. All right, and you must get the right proportion. All right, and Joseon is actually fully owned subsidiary of Operation Arm of Algae International Berhad. All right, and this Algae International Berhad will focus into R&D. All right, for these products. So right now, Joseon has currently the exclusive global licensee for all the 45 essential formula. All right. Now let me guide you through what is 45 essential. Now a lot of people will ask, okay, what is the essential food for a body? I think when I ask this question, a lot of people will start to think, what are the real food that we need? So practically there are 47 essential life which will exist, and your body must have it. Very importantly, water and oxygen. All right, without water and without oxygen, we can't survive. All right, and part of that, we also need the 45 food-based essential. Now, this 45 food-based essential is made out of what? 9 amino acids, 13 vitamins, 20 minerals, and 3 essential oils. If any time low level of this essential oil will lead to what we call malnutrition, or the worst case will be death. All right. So once we have this 45 essential, now it's very important as now we are entering into an era where we talk about COVID-19. Yeah. So this we need to boost our immune system, and this 45 essential is a necessity. All right, that will strengthen our bodies, and it will self-heal with very minimal intervention. Now, if our body are able to absorb this 45 essential in a correct proportion, I have to say this, correct proportions, our food craving and intake will gradually minimize, which means for a lot of cases, you don't need a lot of food. You just can take this every day, and you can keep yourself or your health intact. So, in particularly, the risk of developing so-called what we call metabolic syndrome, okay, which is a precursor to almost leading to a lot of disease, all right, will be reduced. Now, what we are facing, the problem we're facing today is actually we all need to take food, yeah, we consume food. But in order to have the 45 essential at sufficient level, a lot of us will be eating more food. In actual case, you don't need to have that, all right? So I always said this, you need to eat less, but right amount, all right? So that's the reason why the BMI, so-called the obesity level in Malaysia are getting very high. And very importantly, the what we call the risk of developing metabolic syndrome. Okay, this is where it's a precursor to our health problem like diabetes, cancer, heart disease, hypertension, and depression. All right. Another major problem is that the overproduction of food. All right. In the world now, it uses a lot of so-called hormone, pesticide, antibiotics. That will cause harmful to your body. All right. You look at the world so-called obesity. If you look at Europe, 25% are actually obesity. China, India, 30%. You could be surprised why India, they have 30% obesity. Malaysia, we have 32%. US, 35%. Middle East, 40%. And you look at the US, they spend 40% of their so-called expenditure on the health expenditure. So let me tell you more on the Joseon 45 essential. If you look at this situation, this Joseon is actually the first source of, I would say, the food. For example, the fish, for example, yeah. If they go to, in the ocean, they will take so-called the food, and they will take what? Algae. So the algae now, you are taking so-called the first level of food chain directly to you. So in this essential 45, you can see there's no pesticide, no hormone, no antibiotics, and all this, and it's actually halal certified vegetarian. So what is all this? And this, when you have this 45 essentials, trust me, you don't need to have any food. you can survive and you can see the glow in your face and you can see your health are improving because we have a lot of so-called customers actually taking it now and they see a very good effect on their body, on their health. And you can see, to avoid health problem, you need to reduce so-called excessive food intake, all right? So in this, I will explain more what is this Essential 45 besides the microalgae. And this is the only one I would say you can use it for your food, you can use it for your, for your chocolates, you can mix it with your cakes, you can do all sort of food with this microalgae, okay? So if you look at this, imagine one day we talk about a beef burger without using meat. You don't need to use meat to produce that. You just need to use microalgae. And right now, we are developing that, all right, for some big company, FMCG company that we are working on right now. Now, we have been 15 years into this microalgae farming technology. I would probably say the founders have been developing this for the past 15 years. And this is the first time that we're going to bring it commercially to the market. And I can tell you, AIB is actually having a closed so-called pond. Compared to a lot of worldwide, they use so-called the open raised pond. And this is where the contamination is, all right? And we are using so-called our research and our methods are actually validated by NASA and Wasteman of Institute of Science. So our product is clean and we can breed more species of microalgae, all right, compared to those open pond. And the most importantly, the cost control are actually at the maximum level, all right? So AIB actually patented, okay, the technology growing hundreds of thousands of microalgae species. And we are using this, to unlock this commercial grown microalgae at scale, all right, we are already at that level, all right? That's the reason why the researchers who call the founders, I'll introduce you later who's the founders, are using this, having so-called spending 15 years for the company to develop this, all right? So right now, AIB or Joseon, we have no companies at all in Malaysia, and I can proudly say we are the only one who are having this, all right? And we have a very high level of technology, low capital, and very low running costs. This is what we do. And besides that, besides having the microalgae, we actually create a solution to a high level pollution caused by palm oil milk and soya processing plant, where they use a lot of water. Like in Selangor, we always have Shabas problem, no water. So, right, because this plant use a lot of water, and from this so-called AIB technology, we can actually convert that excessive so-called contamination and become a clean water, and they can use back the same water. So we can reduce the water level usage in Selangor. And I'm sure you'll be very happy because in Malaysia, we will have 2 times in a year that always have water issues. All right. Now, so this is what we call a very important we call ecological situation. Now, we always have this thinking. To fight a war, many items are needed. First thing in our mind, we always say we need bullets and guns. But guys, actually, you need boots also. In order to move that, because without a boot, you're actually not able to move it. All right. No boot, you will, same thing. Without proper diets, you cannot have so-called a good health for ourselves, all right? So in order to improve our immune system, essential 45 is required. Now, if you look at the global industries, 44.5 trillion global wellness economy is how big is the market. And you talk about healthy eating, nutrition, weight loss sectors, you can have 702 billion market. And you look at the growth rate every year by year, we are talking about 6.4% of growth, all right? So every year, you can name it. And today, with the COVID-19, all right, we will have more and more growth in this segment, okay? So if you look at, in the year 2021, we are looking at farming to grow spirulina or microalgae at 45 essential. We need to increase the modules, and that's where the sales will come from, okay? Part of that, we also spend in terms of product development, R&D, right, and tech developments, and very importantly for marketing. So for the past 15 years, we have been spending a lot of funds to develop. And now it's the time for us to bring it to the world, all right, and to market it. So we want to commercialize the Essential 45 at this moment. Now, how do we do that? Our marketing and sales strategy. In fact, we already have distributors and retailer, ready distributor and retailer. They are waiting for our products to be ready now. I would say commercially, to bring it to the health shops. All right, and we do have order from China and other markets. All right, because right now in China they're talking about vegetarian, and a lot of young Chinese in China now they are actually talking about vegetarian, and they need the sauce from us. All right, and those vegan, especially in the market, vegan, you need a protein sauce, you need it. And very importantly, we also work with this called online platform. And this is ASIS is the Malaysia's largest online aggregator to help so-called SME product to bring it to the world. And they market to 98 countries in the world. So we already have that. And very importantly, we have a health seminar that we're going to the pharmacist channel to talk to the pharmacists and to introduce this product. Okay? Now, for financial projection, we are looking at... Yeah. We are looking at, for the start, we are looking at 8 million. All right, first year, second year, we are looking at 40 over million. And third year, we are looking at about 70 over million. All right. So now we are looking at using how we use the fund. All right. We are going to stick $3 million. And how we're going to use that, CapEx, we use 50%. Marketing with 22% and working capital, we spend about 20%. So how are we going to give back so-called the return to the shareholders? We will give so-called non-cumulative dividend 10% per annum. And we also will actually have redeemed or twice in a year. Or we can convert the exchange ordinary share into our Algae International Berhad within 5 years. And same time, you can enjoy 15% discount of all our chosen products. So look at our team management. We have Jack, the founder, is with me now, right? And we have Christopher, finance director, and Dato Khairul Anwar, our business development. So Madam Sue, our operation directors. And our team management marketing directors, Helen Morgan, Fission from Overseas Suction Plant, Jazdev from Marketing North America, and Baraj Prabha from Overseas Project. Yeah. So I would like to end this. If you can give everyone individual the right amount of nourishment and exercise, not too little, not too much, we will have found the safest way to our health. All right. So this is quoted by Hippocrates, great scientist. Thank you so much. All right. So now we are open to the question Q&A session.
Yes, thank you, Edgar.
Thank you.
Okay, if anybody has any questions for Edgar, go ahead and put them in the chat box. We've got a couple of minutes just to address some questions. Yeah, I guess, well, we do have a question, but I guess it's more directed to us. Okay, for sharing of the pitch decks, we can go ahead and, so 2 of our issuers that are presenting today are currently live, so you can go ahead and visit their deal pages on our platforms. For the other 4, they'll be upcoming, they'll be live soon, so just stay tuned and you'll be able to see their infos of the pitch deck there. Okay, so we've got a question. Could you elaborate on how the funds raised will be used by Joseph?
Could you elaborate on how the crowdfunding will be used?
The utilization of funds raised.
Oh, okay. Elaborate. We want to expand our farm. We have got a farm for microalgae. That the point is to expand that, expand production of all 45 and move downstream into other products using the all 45 essentials. In essence, we'll keep on adding. It will keep on adding more and more products as we go along. And of course, marketing is a big part of it. And Edgar Leong, who did the presentation just now, he's the marketing director of Axis Net, and they are our main distribution channel.
Okay, thanks, Jack. And then, which countries are you growing the product in?
At the moment, it's in Malaysia, but down the track, as we expand, we could be putting up projects in other countries. In the technology we have is actually much broader than health food. We will be going into omega-3 from microalgae instead of from fish oil. We'll be going into beta carotene. We'll be going into many other project. So the technology is very versatile, and we have already started discussions about using microalgae as a feed for stem cells for people that have lab-grown meat. In fact, they're waiting for us to get production up. Also, we are in discussion with the companies that are doing things like Impossible Burger, where instead of plant-based, we use microalgae. Microalgae are by far healthier than plant-based materials. So that's why they are keen to move on to microalgae as the base source. The reason why it's because our production is in a closed system. It's clean. The stem cells in the labs, if they have got the contamination from on-grown microalgae, they got problems. So they need our microalgae, which is very clean.
All right, thank you, Jag. Okay, sorry, I think that's all we have time for the Q&A. If anybody has any questions, any more questions for Jag and the Joseph team, you can go ahead and put them in the chat box. And then Jag and team, feel free to address the questions there. Yeah. Okay.
I see a question here which says, how's the product unique? There are number of things. Number one, it is very clean. We grow the microalgae in a clean, closed system. Number two, because it's clean and from using, there's no smell and taste. And because of that, it can be incorporated into everyday food. But if you have it from the ponds, there is a smell of the pond. So it's much more difficult to do that because you've got to mask the taste and the smell of the pond.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jag. Okay, yeah, thank you both, Jag and Edgar. We'll go ahead and move on to the next issuer. If you guys have any questions for them, go ahead and put them in the chat, and then the team can go ahead and address them there. Yeah. Okay, so next up, we have Sekolah Tinta. So Sekolah Tinta is a pioneer of the Malaysian education industry as the first STEM-based local syllabus private school. Sekolah Tinta is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Gains Education Group, which is a multi-award winning education ecosystem that offers a complete range of English-emphasized Islamic-based education services from preschool to secondary school. So presenting today, we have the Director of Tinta Pendidikan, Puan Zaliza Alias.
Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon. Can everybody hear me? All right. So if you have your children with you, hi children, how are you? So dear parents, yeah, I'm sure all of you here, most of you here are actually working from home, so you have your children with you. And we are here, Sekolah Tinta, actually as a pre-life. We were called last night actually to share about our school. So this is a pre-life, so more like we are sharing to introduce our school. So since the start of lifting of MCO, people have been asking when the school will start to reopen. Parents have been asking when the school will start to be reopened when all other industries are open, right? So parents realize, the public realize that remote learning cannot replace human and that school is a safe place for children. Now, if the school, the public school, let's look at this pain point. If the public school is reopened, the situation will be that it will be crowded, and we are talking about social distancing here, you know. So parents would like to go into public school, can't go to public school. So what are the options? Private school. Now, but however, private schools are mostly expensive, unaffordable. So what will be the solution? So here we are, Sekolah Tinta. We have started since about 3 years ago. So this is our third year. So we have actually done it. and we have actually proven it. So in our third year here, we would like to join in this equity crowdfunding for the purpose of expansion. Okay, so we are excited for our expansion, and we are offering actually the solution, 5-point solution, that is a private school that is affordable, that is focused on values-based character building education, focused on safety, designed facilities, and number 4, focusing on STEM, science, technology, engineering, maths, national curriculum, okay, and number 5, with steady, rapid growth over the past 3 years, and we have proven it with our company, our group of education for 20 years, Gain Education Group. We have various education groups under our arms. So Sekolah Pintar is just one of it. So we have proven it with all in our group. So I would like to start off with sharing with you to visit our school. Can we start off to see the school with our video? Yes. I think we need the sound. Yes, thank you. Oh. I love coffee. All right, so that's our school located in Glenmary, Shah Alam. Or if you know Holiday Inn, Glenmary, or the RV Highcom, so we are right across it. It's a standalone campus building. All right, can we have the slide host? I passed the host the slides. Yeah. So I'll go through this very quickly for everyone to understand about this school. Okay, we are here for the purpose of expansion, and we're looking for interested individuals who wants to write this together with us to expand. Okay, moving on. As I shared with you, okay, that this school is a STEM-based curriculum, national curriculum that's focusing on STEM, science and technology, engineering, and maths. So this has been something that has been in Malaysia education blueprint. But however, in the national school, it is difficult to conduct this because of the big size and the crowd. So we have taken the advantage or the responsibility from there to actually have a full-fledged STEM-based school, which means for every subject in Sekolah Tinta, you name it, English, maths, or anything, it is all based on project-based, it is all based on computational thinking. It is all based on design, maker, to develop children to become a maker kind of learner instead of just a user. Okay, moving on. So the solution is, as I mentioned to you, if you can remember the 5 key points, that is to provide a school that's affordable, values-based, safety, and with STEM curriculum, and with steady rapid growth. Okay, moving on. I'm doing this very quickly because I'm just introducing the school, right? So this is kind of like a teaser if you would like to know more. So the traction over the past 3 years as we have opened, as you can see, it has been steady growth, right? And right now, as I'm speaking to you, we are receiving registration for our next part, that is for Sekolah Menengah, right? So now is for Sekolah Rendah because we start off with year 4, okay? And we should be having UPSR actually this year for our first year, but whether it's good, well, there's pros and cons. We have it as more of a school-based assessment for the UPSR, right, for this year. And so we are moving into Sekolah Menengah. So that's where we're excited to go. Moving on. So here's the traction comparison of the students' number according to classes, right, from the first year and so on. Okay. Okay, so we open more for the year 1, as you can see just now. All right, so for the financial growth, okay, increased number of students, so as well as the increase in the number of our income revenues as well. Okay, so we are targeting actually throughout these achievements, we targeting right now we have grown 191% in 2020 within 3 years, and from our modest 1.5 million to now 4.5 million in 2020. We, as we're speaking, as I mentioned to you, we're talking about 2021 now, registrations open for 2021. All right. So this is our team, myself as the founder. Okay, so under my arms are also Sekolah Tinta, Idrisi International School, Genius Outlet, and our facilities and maintenance company assistant, and also our teachers training company, that is EduVentor. So in other words, together with Sekolah Tinta, actually in our arms, we have a complete ecosystem. So now we are pushing for Sekolah Tinta expansion. And that's our another team member, okay, our director, Encik Hafizah. That is more for our design development, physical development, okay. And next, Encik Hasno, okay, he is more into finance, okay, so he has been for 20 years in finance and investment, our partner, and also Puan Zeti Hana Ibrahim, is more into the corporate governance, okay, experience for the past 10 years in corporate governance in Petronas. All right.
Sorry, Puan Zaliza, you have 1 minute to wrap up.
Okay. All right, we will go the next slide. Okay, so this is our milestone. I hope you can see that. Okay, our first year, second year, third year, and for the 5th year, as you can see, hope you can see that we are going into put this into a public listing, okay, together with our group of company and the Gains Education Group. So this is where you can see the opportunity for investment, because we come as a group, although we are putting it as Sekolah Tinta as one of the wholly owned subsidiary, but moving forward for our milestone, we are looking at public listing. All right, next. So there you go, as I've shared just now. Moving into secondary school and so on. Okay, finally, I think this is the final slide, the next one. Yes, okay. So as you can see, the number of, the percentage of government schools are 92%, okay, around the area of Petaling, right? And only 8% are private school. But these 8% of private school are normally fully subscribed. It's always fully subscribed, because people are looking for this alternative, right? So you can see from here how actually the vast opportunities of expansion, and we are excited to get everyone, to call out everyone, come and join us for this. All right, that's for my sharing for Sekolah Tinta. Okay, you can find out further from our website, sekolahtinta.edu.my. It is registered under Ministry of Education Malaysia. Yeah. I open up for question right now, yeah?
Yes, thanks, Conzaliza. If anybody has any questions for her, you can go ahead and put them in the chat box on the side.
If there's any financial questions, financial details, that kind of thing, because today we're just introducing. So that one we will get a take note and we will answer later after the session.
Okay. So the first question is, what is Sekolah Tinta's saturation point for students?
What is Sekolah Tinta's saturation point for the students? We can occupy right now for our current building about 600 students. Okay. So we are only at our third year, so we can still fill up. But the good news is we are also moving to a purpose-built campus actually in another 2 years that we have already in the pipeline right now. So we are looking at not just one school actually of Sekolah Tinta, but we are looking at more in the city area as well, around Malaysia.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay, if anyone else has any questions, we have about a minute left. So as Conzaliza mentioned earlier, this is like a preview of Sekolah Tinta's business pitch. They'll be coming up on our platform soon, so stay tuned for that. But if you have any questions for them in the meantime, you can go ahead and put them in the chat. And if that's it for now, then we can go ahead and move on to our next presenter.
All right. All right.
If there's any questions, we can go ahead and address them in the chat box, yeah? All right, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so next up, or just a quick reminder, thank you everybody for your cooperation and for putting the questions in the chat box. So just a reminder to everybody to please have your mics and cameras switched off during the presentations, just to avoid any disruptions or interruptions. Yeah? So next up, we've got Sonair. So set to cause a major disruption in the air conditioning industry, Sonair is launching Chilla, which is a new venture by the company behind the award-winning Sonair hybrid air conditioning systems, which you can find installed in most 24-hour McDonald's in the Klang Valley, as well as in secret recipes and caring pharmacies. After the success of its B2B business, the team is embarking on a new venture, launching Chilla, a software-as-a-service model for Sonair to be implemented for the B2C market. So presenting for Chilla is Azrina Yusof, the founder and CEO. Hi, Azrina.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to talk to you today about Chilla, my new product and business plan, which I'm convinced will be a game changer and a major disruptor in the air conditioning industry. Before that, my name is Azrina. I am the patent holder of SunAir, a hybrid air conditioning system, which is the most energy-saving aircon in the market. We have the patent, the green certification, and the SIRIM certification, and we have something which other air conditioning systems doesn't have, which is the green investment tax allowance. And because of that, we are able to draw in big brand boys like McDonald's restaurants, Secret Recipe, Caring Pharmacy, and Resort Hotels to be our customers. And we have installed from 1.5 horsepower right up to 30 horsepower at these places. All manufacturing is outsourced. And today we are seeking 3 million ringgit to implement Chilla, our new platform to run our software as a service for SunAir. And I set up Technology University Solar in 2012 to be Malaysia's homegrown, eco-friendly tech innovator on energy-saving air conditioning systems, basically green air conditioning. And the reason why I did that is because it's expensive to own and utilize aircon units. Today, aircons are no longer a luxury item, but a necessity. On average, a household will use at least 4 units per household. And then because of that, this has contributed to the highest energy consumption for a building. If you compare your billing before and after having air conditioning, you can see that it takes up to 60% of the building's total energy consumption. There has been no innovation in aircon technology in the last 30 years, as well as lately there's been more and more climate concerns due to the refrigerant gases used in the air conditioning, which contributes to the high HFCs and also the global warming potential. And because of that, I've come up with Chilla solution, providing smart, green, and super energy-saving aircon units, SunAir Coolbox, as a service to customers. And I'm going to explain how we're going to do that. So what is Chilla? Chilla is an app for customers to download and subscribe for cooling services. The key here is that we are not selling any aircons, but we are providing cooling services. So when customers subscribe to Chilla, they will get 1 free SunAir, free installation, free maintenance, and also the IoT functions to run the SunAir aircon from the Chilla app itself. So again, it's a subscription of cooling services. So customers will get a free of charge SunAir for 36 months. Customers purchase what we call cooling blocks for 66 ringgit per month and will get 240 hours of cooling services each month, and that translates to 8 hours of cooling a day. And customers get one-time free maintenance each year. And if they run out of their cooling services, they can purchase additional cooling blocks like top-ups for like 10 ringgit for 32 hours. So all purchases, all scheduling, all remote control functions are made through the Chilla's IoT app. And from then on, with all these purchases, they receive loyalty points that they can redeem. So this is it. And the benefits to customers, what we are doing is that we're trying to make air conditioning units and cooling services affordable and available to a larger pool of customers. And by giving a SunAir free, we are actually providing monthly savings automatically as compared to normal aircons. And from this 50 to 70 ringgit monthly savings, customers can actually, by that alone, cover the monthly subscription fees of Chilla. Customers can also save more by keeping track and monitoring the daily aircon usage because of the IoT that they can use to schedule the cooling. And from all that, it makes the using of the cooling services very convenient. So they can conveniently subscribe, schedule, maintain, and also redeem the loyalty points. So we believe that this will be a very attractive proposition to customers. So a very brief step-by-step features of Chilla. So firstly, customers can download the Chilla mobile app, choose a plan to subscribe, and choose the aircon capacity depending on the room size. So they can choose a 1.5 horsepower free aircon or 1 horsepower, 2 horsepower. It depends on them, and there are different rates for that. customers also choose a location, their location, and then schedule the installation. And once the installation is done, they can also write a review of the installers and rate them. Okay, and feature 3, the customers can also use the Chillah mobile app to control the cooling and schedule the air conditioning in the day. Feature 4 is that customers can also schedule the servicing. Servicing is actually provided free, but customers can schedule it whenever they want. And with all that, customers can redeem their loyalty points, and if they need any more extra cooling, they can pay the top up. So the revenue model is divided into 3, basically subscription of hours of cooling blocks. And so we have different rates, like for 1 horsepower, they can pay 66 ringgit for 240 hours. And if they have a bigger room and they choose a 2 horsepower, they pay 96 ringgit for 240 hours as well. So once they run out of that cooling blocks, they can subscribe additional hours. So 10 ringgit for another 32 hours and 20 ringgit for another 64 hours. And although service is provided free once a year, if they need more service, they can subscribe for the servicing at 200 ringgit per service. So the terms of agreement are as follows. They get free Sun Air, a smart energy saving aircon. Contract is 36 months plus 24 months. Free once a year service, free installation, and there will be a penalty if the aircon is found opened, the Wi-Fi is touched, or the contract is cancelled. So we're looking into the market opportunity. Almost consistently, Malaysia has invested in 1 million units of air conditioning for the last 3 years, and this has translated to a market value of 1 billion ringgit. And for Indonesia, the Age has reported in 2019 that there will be a growth between 30 million to 150 million units, which will translate to 30 billion to 150 billion market value. And basically, we are interested in these 2 main markets. Okay, as for us, our own traction for the last few years that we've been doing this, we have McDonald's restaurants as our major customer, Secret Recipe and Caring Pharmacy. And McDonald's is going all out to do another 200 restaurants, and we are very much part of their green initiative. Yes, we have received awards from CGP Group thanks to the Dr. Siva and Renew for giving us the Best Pivot Innovation Award in 2016. And the STAR gave us a Certificate of Merit in 2017. We have also received grants. We basically received grants to commercialize in 2014 from Cradle. And also we got another grant in 2016 from Agency Inovasi to do all the regulatory compliance. And we were actually announced as the highlighted company for Agency Inovasi last year. And we would like to thank the media for highlighting us, thanks to the Age News, which highlighted us twice, once in 2015 and also again last year, and it was published in 2020. Also in the Focus Malaysia as well as Malaysia.my. We had a lot of fun doing a documentary together with the DW German TV in 2017 in their Founders Valley documentary, where we were one of the 2 founders, the Malaysian founders representing Malaysia in this documentary series in which they went around Asia looking for innovative Asian founders. Okay, this is just to go a little bit on the revenue of what's now. So after we commercialized, even though the company was set up in 2012, we spent a lot of time on R&D, and it's only after we finished our Cradle grant that we managed to do the commercialization, which started in 2016. And so even before we have patented our units, and we have managed to sell this right after commercialization. And 2017, we did our patent. And in between 2017 and 2018, the government made an announcement that all air conditioning manufacturers must go for regulatory compliance. So we could not sell but we had to follow through all our compliance process, and we got a grant from Agency University to do that. And right after we completed all our paperwork, there was a triple jump in revenue for 2019, so it was a good year last year.
Sorry, Azrina, we have 1 minute to wrap up.
Okay, so basically this is our profit and loss projections for Chile. We are looking on a more conservative side. Basically, on the first year, we're looking at the slight loss and then pivoting up for the next year 2 and year 3. Much time, and I just want to go a little bit on the marketing plan. We're looking into 2,000 units, targeting 2,000 units next year, which we feel that it's very doable because it looks like we're having 5 salespeople to push 3 subscriptions a day. We will easily meet this, and doing lots of road shows in Klang Valley and social media campaigns. So basically, this is the campaign that we will be doing all along. But what I want to also stress is that I also will be doing adding new products as well, because I am an innovator, and so I will make the app fresh, basically. And so our main target is by year 5 to get to 50,000 units for a buyout or an IPO and expansion to Indonesia. So we're looking for 3 million, and 40% we're looking at the app development, and 30% to spend on the stock of Sun Air, as well as another 30% on the advertising and marketing. So we're very confident about this because we are actually modeling something which is already proven in the market. We saw the rental model of Kowe. Even though Kowe is a water filter, we feel that is something that we can actually model copy the model of what they are doing. And they started 5 years ago, and in 2018 the Age reported that they made a revenue of 1.1 billion. So we think that this is something that is very much doable, except we have something else. We have the subscription, which can control the IoT part of the aircon, and so we will reduce the non-performing loans. Anyway, I will explain this further if anyone has more questions on this, because time is very short for me. Okay, these are my team members. I'm just going to run through. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me any questions. This is it, guys. I have a clear plan, clear model, clear product. I'm in this to win, and the time is right. Join me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Azrina. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move into the Q&A. So the first question is, okay, so it's a great idea. It's what aircraft engine manufacturers are doing, moving from spot sale to annuity. So okay, does your app control temperature like Sensible?
Yes, it has the IoT function to control the temperatures and also to schedule the cooling. So what I mean by scheduling the cooling is that, for example, if you want to go in the morning, if you want to go to work, you can actually schedule it to switch off by itself. And if at a certain time of the day when you come back from work, you can actually schedule it to run maybe 20 minutes before you arrive at home, and so that your house is always, or your building is always cool and nice, waiting for you.
Okay, great.
Can I ask? Hi, Azrina.
Hi.
I'm Zaliza, the one who shared about Sekolah Tinta just now.
Okay.
This is very interesting.
I know.
So, I mean, I'm thinking about school size, because just how you shared McDonald's or Caring Home. How big have you done so far, in terms of the size area? Because if we're looking at our new campus in the future, it will be like bigger, 2 acres. I don't know. Can you enlighten us? Yeah.
Okay, very nice. Okay, how big? Okay, just to give you an idea of the size of the McDonald's restaurants where we have installed 30 horsepower. So those are like, I think most people will have probably passed by the Sungai Besi Highway, and you can see the Petron, and then there's McDonald's on the side of the road. and that's the sizes of most McDonald's, and those are the kind of sizes that I usually do. So it's as small as a 1.5 horsepower, the one little ones in your room, to as big as that, and it can be stacked, meaning that it's modular and you can stack how many units that you need. It depends on the cooling actually, capacity, the building size. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Hope to be in touch. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, if anybody has, okay, we've got one more question, or I guess more of a remark to make. Whoever came up with the Chilla name is brilliant. It's easy, catchy, and very Malaysian.
Thank you. I have to thank ATA Plus for that.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so I guess if that's it for the questions, I guess we'll go ahead and close the Q&A for Chilla. So as mentioned in the beginning of the session, so out of the 6 companies that are presenting today, or that presented today, 2 of them are currently live on our platform. So you can go ahead and go to the ATA+ website at ata-plus.com to go check out those live campaigns now. For the other 4, they're currently in the pipeline and just waiting to go live. So just stay tuned and they'll be up very soon. Thank you all so much for attending today's session. And thank you for cooperating as well and making sure that everything runs smoothly. So just to close things up, I'd like to invite Kiri back on again, just for some closing remarks.
Yeah, thank you, Nadia. Yeah, thanks. Thanks again for everybody for attending. I do hope you enjoyed the session, and I do hope that you found some very interesting companies. I think in my opening remarks, I did want to talk about hope, especially coming out of COVID-19 and all that, and moving forward. And I'd like to think that a lot of these companies that are giving you that, or will be giving Malaysia and the economy that, very innovative, and do reflect what the future is going to hold for us all coming out of this. So once again, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules. Do look out for our upcoming eye contact events. We do have a lot of, like I mentioned earlier on, a lot of good companies coming through in the same vein as these very dynamic companies. So please do look out for those. And like I say, we will continue on our part, our small part, to get these wonderful entrepreneurs out in front of you and get them funded. So thanks again for giving us all hope. Thank you, and goodbye.
Okay, thank you, Kiri, and thank you everyone for joining us today. So again, if you want to check out the first 2 companies, they're currently live on our platform. And for the upcoming ones, you can email us at invest@ata-plus.com if you want to get any more information on them or instructions on how to contact them. All right, thank you so much, everybody. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's session.